Hey everyone, I'm here with my 2008 GMC Yukon Denali. I know a lot of you have been calling in asking for me to do this review, and you guys have been asking me to do this for a while, so I thought I'd finally get to it. I actually meant to do it while I was out in the country last week. I was in Hocking Hills and it was all nice and calm and peaceful. I never got around to it. But yeah, we're in my garage, which is an absolute mess. So, pardon the mower, and there's hardly any room. But I said I was going to do this video, and you guys have been calling in, so here we are. It's a stealth gray color, which is a nice color on this model. Uh, we recently used a 3M headlight restoration kit, so um, it's really shined up nicely. It was pretty cloudy. It's still a little bit scratched. I think some of the fog is actually inside the housing, so I mean it's a 9-year-old car. It's not gonna be as perfect as the day is long. So um, this is a genuine GMC logo, badge, if you will. So grill's in pretty good shape. That's the grill. This is the driver's side headlight. Okay, we'll show you that on and off. If I can get this to on. Okay, so lights are on. You can see a little bit of the fog scratching on the inside, but overall, all lights working. And let's see if I can. Actually, it won't. I don't think it'll let me turn on the fog lights from here. We'll walk around. No, I think the car has to be on for the fog lights, but you get the idea. And we'll just turn those off. Fog lights do work. They are down here. I've never had to replace the bulbs. I've only had the car since October of 2016. Came with a few issues that, of course, nobody wants to tell you at the time, but I drove out to Meadville, PA on a random Columbus day, and I had a Scion XB 2013 with about 25,000 miles on it that I decided to trade in for this thing, which is a small upgrade in size compared to a Scion XB. And as a result, you know, with only looking at it for one day, there's only so much you can do, and you have to take a little bit at the dealer's word. And I'm actually going to turn off this light because it doesn't seem to be working. That's that back light, which never seems to want to turn on, so I just turn that off so I don't forget to turn it off later. Need another bulb in there. They're kind of gigundo bulbs, but you can see the car okay. But it had an oil leak that nobody told me about. It had axle seal on the driver's side that went out a little bit. Needed that to be replaced because it was leaking axle grease. Then it started leaking power steering fluid, and the power steering pump and lines and hoses had all been replaced. So all in all, there's been a little over $1,000 in fluids and stuff, and gaskets, and rear main seal, crankshaft seal. Transmission had to be separated from the engine in order for them to work on it, fix it up. So there's that. Yeah, there's been a few issues with this particular SUV. But we'll give you a little tour of duty. This is the back seat. Leather was in really great shape. And it's got all these buttons that kind of fold the seat down and do everything electronically for you, which is really nice if you have to haul anything. The XL version basically has 20 more inches of room in the back. I have the third row removed so you can actually get something in there, but you're left with all these wonderful seat mounts. XL version, just picture 20 inches of trunk space added that way towards the tailgate. I just put this down. That up. You got armrests. I typically keep them up unless I have passengers, because the bolt that actually holds them to the seat is known for getting loose because there's absolutely no washer. It's just bolt, you tighten it right to the side of the chair, and after a few up and downs it just becomes loosey-goosey, and there's not much you can do about that. But like I said, the leather was in great shape. I had the third row inside, but it's pretty much in this condition. I've put some leather conditioner on it, a few applications to kind of bring it back to life. You'll have to pardon my allergies. I am sniffling a little bit. I picked up a little bit of a cold while I was in Hocking Hills. So the exterior's in pretty good shape. I think I've actually managed to put a small dent in the front of the hood. I don't know if you can see it, but I just feel like that wasn't there when I bought it. And one day I was just in a hurry to shut the hood, which is kind of on a hydraulic spring. It doesn't really have a normal metal hook that you just hold it up. It's a gigantic hood, so I understand them putting a hydraulic spring in it, lift, whatever you want to call it, but it basically opens by itself. I don't feel like opening it today, but there is a massive V8 Vortec. I think it's an L92 if you're looking into your engine classification numbers. And it's basically a glorified Corvette engine inside of an SUV truck like, Sierra, Denali, Yukon Denali engine bay, which is pretty substantial in size. We replaced the spark plugs and the wires, cleaned out the throttle body, got a new battery, kind of typical maintenance. It's got 130,000 miles on it. I've put 7 of those 130,000, so about 1,000 miles a month is typical. It's gone down to North Carolina. This was a South Carolina car. At least the owner was from there. I think on the side of the window, or actually on the side of the door frame, there is actually a sticker that says certified with quality, assembled with pride in Janesville, Wisconsin. So it initially came from Wisconsin, but the Carfax and everything that the dealership told me said that it was actually a South Carolina owned vehicle. So as a result, things like the tires and the wheels, well, mainly the chrome, was in really great shape. There's little flakes here and there that'll pop off, especially if you take this center cap off. We took that off to rotate the tires a few weeks ago, which is not an easy task with these 20-inch monsters. I think they're 32 or 35-inch tires, I'm not sure, but they're gigantic. I needed my dad's bottle jack in order to lift up the back while we jacked up the front. Put a couple jack stands down and did one side at a time. I don't know if you can see it on this side, but the tread is pretty aggressive. So it gets these little rocks and stones in it. I managed to take a pair of pliers and just kind of flip them out of there as best I could. There's already a few back with each tire, so as you can tell, I'm going to turn off this light because I'm actually going to go on a small trip to Chipotle and thought I'd take you along with me for the ride a little bit. Again, pardon the mess, it's just did the floor last year. And some residual stuff is over here. It's just an absolute mess. I got this wonderful, wonderful Duralast jack with 2 stands that I don't trust to lift my car up very much, so I go to my dad's. I use his, which I think are 3 or 3.5 ton. I mean, the whole car weighs, I think, like 5,600 pounds. So for some reason, just me here, I don't trust myself enough to do it. And he's got oil pan supplies and stuff to put it in for, you know, disposing of it properly and all that kind of stuff for fluids and oils. Taillights and stuff are in great shape. It did suffer some sort of minor accident, so there are some flaws. Like there's a scratch here. There's a bit of a crimp down here by the end of the exhaust tailpipe. Tailpipe also does not boast the chrome attachment, so I just left it. And I won't, well, I guess I could do it a little bit. There is some features with the car. There's an automatic lift gate, so you just hold that, it'll go up. I don't want it to hit the garage door, so I'll just make it go back down. But you would be surprised how many Yukons you would find where the feature of the lift tailgate is not operational. And this is where 26 gallons of premium recommended fuel goes in. Sometimes I cheat and I'll get mid-grade, but I have run it on 87 octane, and I really do feel, especially in the winter, that it runs a little rough. There's another Gigundo wheel. It's got nice running boards. So we'll take you inside. I've had this door open so long that the interior lights turned off, so let's get them to go back on. It's kind of got this fake wood veneer around the steering wheel, which actually is kind of nice. I like the size steering wheel on this car. And it's not obtrusively large. You can get an average size hand around, good grip. These are your exterior illumination functions, like it defaults to automatic headlight, parking lamp, headlight, high beam, and that's all dash centric. Tells you what's going on. Turn that off. Your driver's side left armrest console controls is pretty substantial. You got lock and unlock. Okay. Then you got window lock function if you want other people to be able to control their windows front and back. You have exterior mirror folding in and out. I don't know if it'll do it. I probably have to have the key in, but they do function. I try not to use it to preserve their life because I've seen a few where they don't work at all. I'd like to be able to sell it someday with that function happening. I'm not exactly sure what these do. They might be heated. Obviously, I've never used that function, but some light is starting. Oh, this is choosing left or right for actually moving the mirror. So you move it. There it is. And it's got memory position for your driver's seat. You got 1 or 2 saves per side. And you also have an easy exit if you want the seat to go all the way back. It's actually moving right now. And it can go really far. I mean, my legs are not even close to hitting any interior objects at all in the cabin. Okay, so it's got adjustable steering wheel, which is probably going to flip way up. Yeah. And I'll just bring that back down. I like this. If you put it all the way down. I call this Corvette mode, where you have absolutely no legroom at all. And unless you have your seat all the way back and reclined, I don't know who can possibly read those gauges. I mean, I call this Corvette mode. Usually I have it kind of in between, which is standard civilian driving mode. It's got a nice chrome end shifter with, they actually managed to leather stitch this. The part where you put your hand, got manual shift mode. Let me put a key in. Again, we got this fake wood cup holder area, all push button access. I usually have them open. Some of them are filled with junk. Yeah, and I got this, I believe my friend Keith pointed out the name, Ascom iPhone holder, which comes in very handy because there's not many areas to put your phone unless you want it to rest in the cup holder, or you have this kind of rubberized mat area, again with the wood trim. The rear passengers have their own heat, cooling, radio, all this function, which is kind of nice. So why don't we fire her up? As we're like 16 minutes into the video, people are probably already skipping to a different video. And we got the smooth jizz going, a little Jeanette Harris. Go ahead and turn that off. Climate control is all digital. Temperature. I actually replaced these buttons on some of them because they were extremely worn off. They have a tendency to turn green as the decals wear off, so you just get these stickers which go over top. They reduce a little bit of the illumination, so it becomes a little harder to tell what you're looking at. Like, these are obviously dimmer than those. And I replaced the AC button, and it looks a little dimmer, but it's better than a solid green blob. It had heated windshield washer fluid, which became a known hazard as the reservoir would set on fire. The solution pulled a fuse. So obviously that doesn't work anymore. This is traction control, stability track. This is parking assist, which really comes in handy when you're backing up. There is no visual on mine because it's just a standard 6-disc CD player, non-navigation radio. I thought of someday replacing it, but I thought, you know, it's like a 9-year-old car, so what are you gonna do? I think I'll just leave it. What else was I gonna say about that? But it'll beep at you, and then there's a pillar in the back, which I don't think you can see from here, but it will actually, oh, maybe you can. That little black area right there is the parking assist. So let me go ahead and put that in reverse, and we'll see if we can get that to show up. Even if it's just briefly. There it went. Yep, so it'll tell you. Let me do it again. So when it's 3 lights, that means you are within, I believe, I think it's 8 inches to 12 inches of your nearest object. So like a curb or a glass building, door, brick, facade, wood pallet, what have you. It will let you know when you're about to back into something, which is really good because I almost backed into a tree at Hocking Hills backing out of my gravel driveway, and that would have been really nice to avoid. So you can see I have 130,628 miles. Got various navigations. I've gone 78 miles on this last trip. 401 mile range. It's got a pretty good range, but you also have 26 gallons of gas. I believe the XL Denali has a 32-gallon tank. That was my economy. That's a bit inflated because I was mainly on the highway. I would say average 14 to 15. Unless you're all highway. I've used 4.4 gallons. I've been in the car for 2 hours. And it gives you a nice convenient transmission fluid temperature, which I've never seen it get above 144 degrees. But it comes in handy when you're checking the fluid. It'll give you this is like a sub menu. So that was all up here. This is like a sub menu information. Got 93% oil life remaining. You can choose your units. Front tire pressure 38s, rear 36 and 37. Engine hours, which looks substantial, 2598.6. You can relearn your remote key from there. So we'll go back to the original. You can change your display language, auto door lock mode, unlock, remote door lock, unlock, delay, exit lighting, you know, if you want your headlights to stay on when you press lock, approach lighting when you unlock, chime volume, park tilt mirrors. I don't think I've ever changed that. Easy exit seat. I think that'll make it automatically put your seat as far back as possible whenever you shift into park. I turned that off because I'm like, I can get out of the car. Memory seat recall, remote start, factory settings. Okay, so we get the hint there. And then you're back to your odometer. And this check mark will basically reset things. But you also have this button up here, the classic plastic rod that you push, and it'll reset your trip. So that's kind of nice to do on the fly. You have to pardon my nose. Going on 22 minutes. I guess we will go ahead, and I don't really need exterior lights on, so I'll turn those off. You have some sunroof controls. It's kind of a warm day, but you got tilt, or you got a full-on opener all up. Has this little wind bar. But yeah, I don't really want that much, so we'll just do tilt. But that lets in some light, which is nice. You got your passenger seat over there. Kind of hard to see in the dark. Actually, maybe I will turn on some lights so you can actually see the gauges. But we'll go ahead and fire this thing up. Well, it's already fired up. We'll just fire it into gear. We're in reverse at present. And back her out. Go ahead and shut the garage door. Oh, that's the park assist, because I actually have a small piece of landscaping that's made out of brick. It always seems to detect it. So, yeah, we're in Ohio, Cleveland, Ohio. It's a small side street, which is small ranch homes, basically. And now we'll fire up. So, we're going down the street. And, of course, somebody's coming in my direction. Because that's just how the street operates. And make a right. But it fires up nicely. You know, it's a big engine. Got a lot of horsepower in it. You can see the crack in the dash, which is common for these dashboards. I don't have any other cracks in it, but there is a crack there. And I didn't want to go over 20 minutes, and we're at 24, so I think I might call this about the end of the video. But I think you've gotten a pretty good overview of this car. And if you have any questions, feel free to comment below, and we'll see you around the block sometime. Thank you. Yukon Denali.